Hey, Ryan here with Hope Mortgage Solutions, and I'm making this video today to take you through the complete loan approval process. So we're going to start at the loan application, take you into disclosures, underwriting, and then you're clear to close, what to expect at the closing table. We're going to take you through the full process, what to look out for, what you need to know. Now, you're going to want to stay to the very end because at the very end, I'm going to reveal to you a little known mortgage hack that can save you time, energy, money, everything under the sun when you're doing your mortgage application. So stay tuned to the very end for that. But without further ado, let's jump right in. So typically when you are wanting to get approval for a house, you're going to get set up with a loan officer at some point. Now, you could have started with a real estate agent, a realtor, and they've suggest someone to you, or you've done your own due diligence. You've Googled folks, you've looked out there, asked ChatGPT. Some people are doing that nowadays, and you found the one you think. And so what they're going to typically have you do is they're going to have you complete a loan application. Now, in the industry, we refer to this as a 1003. So it has all of your details. It has your social security number, your date of birth, where you work, how long you've worked there, where you live, a bunch of different information about you. Once you get that completed, probably takes about 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to be asked to provide some documents. Now, different lenders ask for different amount of documents to qualify you, to pre-approve you, but typically there's going to be four things in particular that you're going to need. One, you're going to need some sort of identification. Two, you're going to need your most recent pay stub or pay stubs. Two, you're going to need your last 2 years W-2s or your taxes if you're self-employed. And then three, bank statement or some idea of where your funds are going to come from that are in association with your loan purchase. So they're going to take all that, and then they're also going to do a credit pull. So this could charge you. There could be a charge associated with this credit pull, anywhere from $50 to $100. Some lenders do not charge you. They just incur the fee up front, and they will basically collect it at closing. And so once they have that information, your loan application, your documents, and your credit report, they are going to typically send it through what we call an automated underwriting system that will kick out an approved eligible, or it won't, and you won't be approved. And so they're going to take that information, they're going to run it through the system, see if they can get you approved. If you can get approved, they're going to give you a pre-approval letter. Once you have that pre-approval letter, you're going to be able to go and see houses with your real estate agent, or on your own if you choose to do that. And once you find the house you like, you're going to be able to make your offer confidently. So what do I mean by that? Well, anytime you see a house that you like, you're going to write up a contract. This is going to be a legally binding contract between you as the buyer and the seller of the home as the seller. Real estate agents, I highly recommend using a realtor because they know the ins and outs. They know the legal things that you need to be looking out for when compiling this contract. They're going to help you with that. They're also probably the person who helped you see the house to begin with, because most properties, there has to be a real estate agent involved to let you in, show you the house, all that. So you find the house you like, the real estate agent, or if you're not using one, you're going to have to write up a contract. You'll write it up. You do not have to offer what they're asking. You can offer whatever you want to offer. You understand that they're going to have to accept it. So you write up the offer and you submit it, and they either accept it or they decline it. Now, let's say that they accept your offer. From that point, you are now under contract. Your real estate agent or you are going to send that offer that is accepted, it's signed by you and the seller, to your lender, your loan officer. Your loan officer is going to get everything together associated with that contract, all the different details of that contract. They're going to put it in your loan application. They will then take your loan application, the documents you sent, your credit report, and everything associated with your file, and they will send it into this to get disclosures written up about it. So once you get under contract, your loan officer is going to take all of your details, your loan application, your documents that you submitted, the contract, your credit report. They're going to send that over to what we call underwriting. They're going to draft up some disclosures. You're going to look through it. It's going to have all your details, all your estimates of what your closing cost is going to be, your interest rate is going to be. All that information is going to be in the disclosures. You sign those disclosures. Once you sign those disclosures, there's going to be one of the documents in there is going to be called your intent to proceed. Once you sign that intent to proceed, we can order your appraisal, we can order your title, we can order your insurance. We get it sent over to the underwriter specifically. The underwriter is then going to review your file, everything that we submitted, all the documents, the contract, everything associated with it, and they're going to issue what's called conditions. And so best case scenario, you're going to be in a status of what's called a conditional approval. That means the underwriter has looked through everything looks good, you're conditionally approved, so they just need a few items that the loan processor is going to then reach out to you to gather. Sometimes they just need more clarification on items. There's just so many different things under the sun that they could be asking for. Typically 5, 10, sometimes 20 different conditions associated with your file that need to be cleared before you're what's called clear to close. And so the underwriter is going to review that. Part of it's going to be your appraisal, title, and insurance are going to be conditions on there. So once your appraisal comes back, that'll be cleared, hopefully. Sometimes the appraisal doesn't get cleared because your appraisal comes back subject to. And all that means is that your appraisal is not going to be cleared until these items are taken care of. So a lot of times it's repairs, health and safety issues that come up. They're going to have to be addressed before that appraisal gets cleared off, and the lender will get you into a clear to close status. Sometimes the appraisal comes back under, the value's not there. Then it has to go back and be renegotiated between the two parties. Are they going to come down a little bit? Back when it was crazy times, 2021, 2022, there was appraisal gaps where buyers agreed to actually pay the difference if it didn't appraise. Not so much anymore. Now what I'm seeing is more like negotiations. It was 5,000 less, and so then there's a negotiation that has to happen there. So, but best case scenario, it comes back as is, no repairs needed, and that clears that condition of the appraisal. You have your title information that comes back that makes sure the house doesn't have any claims on it, that you're going to buy it and it's going to be free and clear. And then you have your insurance, homeowners insurance. I strongly suggest you shop multiple agencies, companies, make them compete to get the best rate possible. So once you get all those conditions cleared, you're going to be in a state of clear to close. Now, the processor helps you gather all those conditions, and then they submit it back to the underwriter who reviews it again, and then you're in a status what's called resubmittal. That means that they resubmitted your file for clear to close. Everything's knocked off, everything's checked off, you're going to be what's called clear to close. Congratulations, the hardest part of your loan journey is behind you. This is where you can celebrate, breathe a sigh of relief, because they're not going to be trying to get any more documentation from you or anything. Now, the big thing is going to be balancing your loan file. So the lender is going to reach out to the title company. They're going to be back and forth, just balancing your file, where your file then becomes a matter of, so far it was just estimates. Well, now you're going to be getting what's called a closing disclosure. And the closing disclosure is when the two sides balance your file and it becomes more of a reality. It's no longer an estimate. These are the solid numbers that came out of the whole process. If you have a good loan officer, the numbers should come in pretty close. They can vary. If they do vary too much, make sure you reach out to your loan officer to get an explanation. It doesn't mean that they're always pulling the wool over your eyes or doing something shady. There's different things that can cause this. The number one guilty thing could be your homeowner's insurance. Sometimes if you get a super crazy homeowner's insurance quote, it can make your closing costs shoot to the sky. So always look out for that. Ask for advice. It's not always your loan officer's fault if that were to happen. So clear to close, you go to the closing table, you're signing a bunch of documents. It seems like probably the same things you signed before, because much of it is, because they just want to make sure you're aware of everything, that you know what you're getting into. But you're getting ready to be a homeowner, which is an awesome thing. So that's kind of the full loan process. I can dive into different specifics of it. If you have any questions below, happy to answer those and dive in a little bit further to each one of those stages. Now, the one mortgage application hack that I want to share with you that I referred to before is if you use a broker. Many mortgage brokers now are allowing you to shop around multiple lenders, up to probably 100, over 100, with just a single soft credit check. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't hurt your credit. So rather go to the bank, and each time they're going to pull a hard credit pull, could cost you money, could not. It's always going to damage your credit a little bit, 3 to 5 points. You can get a soft credit check, doesn't hurt your credit, and a broker is going to be able to shop around and give you the most exposure. They're going to be able to shop around and give you the most exposure to the market. So that is the mortgage application hack I have for you. Hope you enjoyed this video walking you through the complete mortgage approval process. Hey, if you like this video, please click below and subscribe and like the video, share the video, and check out some of our other ones.